What an interesting day in the Nigerian system, where so many things have been sent to the background. There's a huge concern about posts and how that has been relegated. We're going to be looking at that, and much later we'll take a look at another dimension of the topics of the day making the rounds. Welcome to X-Ray on Human Rights Radio. I am not alone in the studio. I have Oikeke. Good morning, Oikeke.
Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. You look very bright and sunny.
Yes,
bright and sunny.
That, yes.
That sounds quite unusual from me. And then we have Wale Williams. Good morning, Wale.
Fantastic morning to you, Mr. Peter.
We seem to be in great spirits, don't we?
Yeah. There's nothing God cannot do.
All right, so let's move to the next guest, a regular on the show as well. Pastor Idris Bawa joins us. Good morning.
Good morning, Peter, and good morning, Nigerians.
Today is the World Post Day, and on the program we will be looking at how well the country is faring in this particular sector. The World Post Day is celebrated each year on the 9th of October, the anniversary of the establishment of the Universal Postal Union in 1874 in the Swiss capital Bern. It was declared World Post Day by the Universal Post Union Congress, which held in Tokyo, Japan in 1969, and since then countries across the world participate annually in the celebrations, with the post in most countries using the event to introduce or promote new postal products and services. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world in marking this day, the Nigeria Postal Service, NIPO, says it will inaugurate an online postal and money order as part of activities to commemorate the World Post Day coming up on 9th of October. And according to, which is of course today, according to a statement by Mr. Franklin Alao, the General Manager of Corporate Communications of NIPOST in Abuja, the portal is aimed at bringing postal service at par with best global practices. He also said that NIPOST was taking advantage of the information communication technology ICT era to introduce into its operation a number of innovative products that would change the face of postal service in the country. Barrister Idris, let me start with you. What is your opinion about the state of the postal service in Nigeria?
Peter, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here again this morning. We thank God. For me, I think we have much to do with the advent of new technologies now, people using their phones and all of that. The post system has been relegated to the background. We hardly hear people posting letters and all of that. So this is a big problem, and I think there's much more to be done. Before now, we used to have pen pals, from all over the world. You can have friends from France, you exchange ideas and all of that. But these days, things are just different. Instead of having pen pal that you can normally write letters to, exchange, pictures and all of that, Facebook and other social media, they've taken over. It's affecting our lives because the writing skills of majority of us is fast disappearing. Now you see somebody writing a letter, even writing a memo, instead of using the right words, they are using abbreviation. Like this, you see LOL, you see all of, it's really affecting the lifestyle of.
So how do you blame NIPOST for that?
I don't think I should blame NIPOST. I should blame the system generally, because the culture of reading, culture of writing is disappearing. Before now, we used to have competitions, inter-school competition about quiz writing and all of that, people writing essays internationally, winning prizes and all of that. All of this, they've disappeared. So there is need for a reawakening, sort of, when it comes to writing. I want to tell you something. I can bet you that 90% of our children today, they have not seen a stamp that we use in posting letters. They've not seen it. I used to do stamp collection as a hobby when I was growing up. I still have series of those stamps still with me. So it's about us changing our lifestyle, adopting and adapting to new technologies and all of that. NIPOS can do a lot by, one, making the postal system much more encouraging. What they do now, like some of us who are lawyers, most documents that you need to sign your signature on, you need to put a stamp, and that is where they can make some money. But we can do much more by engaging in proper competition. Let students start doing exchange program, writing letters from one school and the other. Even within a school, by the time you do inter-school competition, like all those in the house board and all of that, which normally we were doing those days, I'm not sure they are still there anyway. If those can be introduced again, then students can be made to understand the need for them to be writing letters. Nothing stopping a school having a small post office within the school, by which maybe students from government science secondary school, for instance, here inside Abuja, can be writing to the ones in Gwagwalada or in Kuali and all of that. Just encourage that writing skill and using the post system to make it more effective.
How relevant is the postal service in a nation that has accepted technological reforms like Nigeria? We know we're still not there yet. Oikeke?
Yes, with the revolution in the ICT sector, there's a great need for us as a people to move with the times. If we allow our postal services to remain the way they are now, we would not benefit from it in any way. So there's that need for us to redirect our efforts to ensure that we move with the times. Let's refocus and try as much as possible to ensure that we bring in all that is needed to ensure that it can pass the test of time. Because of the postal services is quite important to us as a nation. One, it's a source of revenue generation. People pay to post, to use these services, and by the time we revive it in a way that it should be to meet the current state of the world status, as far as ICT is concerned, there's that tendencies that will generate much more monies from it, and so there's that need, and that's why I appreciate. I think the Senate has a bill on postal services in front of them, because they want to revive the postal services in Nigeria, so that it can create more jobs. It can help us a lot, especially in terms of job creation and other needs of the nation.
Is it not possible, Wale, that there are clear instances that the general population of not just Nigerians but the world population might just be responsible for that diversion from what used to be to the new kind of communication? I'll give you an example. The systems might still be working, they might still be there, the postal service might still be effective, but the general population simply would not participate in any postal transactions. They simply would just prefer to use their emails, go the modern way and forget about that system that operated from the very onset.
Well, it's for me, it's a sad story, because I feel that NIPOS generally has refused to grow. If you ask me, I have 1,001 reasons to that assertion. First of all, I don't think it should be a department or ministry for older men, because if we must rise in consonance with the trends in communication and the ICT, those people cannot take us anywhere. The man you just mentioned, I think I have seen him once or twice, Mr. Franklin Ajao, Alao or something. Yes, the manager of corporate affairs. They don't have the drive. They don't have the energy. They themselves hardly have email addresses. the ones that they have, maybe because of circumstances that compels them, they don't use it as such. I've met with one of the bosses at the Nile Post Office before now. In fact, he's the helmsman, and I was talking about his email address. He said he can't remember.
But why would they have email addresses when they actually have a form of communication?
Fantastic, because it is what the time demands. First of all, if you look at innovations, there's nothing wrong if we have, even if it is 2 naira, 5 naira e-stamp. They should think out of the box. For every mail you send, Nigeria Communications Commission can enforce that for every mail you send, you must put a stamp, 2 naira. The one you're going to receive, you won't be able to open it unless there's a stamp duty you pay on it. In banks, there's no enforcement. For every of those transfers and all those activities you do, there are certain amount, the bank will even put the stamp, whether we are aware of it or conscious of it or not. And those are the issues. The men there, the people there are still in the Stone Age, as far as I'm concerned. And what we need to do now is to begin to introduce in every locality, from Gwagwala, that they must have their own fully functional post office that has a cyber cafe that is fully functional, and then you enforce it to make it easier. In other countries or climes, you see the government taking absolute control of the ICT activities. They can decide to close it if it's becoming retrogressive. What we need to do is to sit down and design our own. We should not be copying US and UK. We have our own thinking. We have our universities and institutions. Let's at least think out of the box for once, and then let's make things get better. They should be able to enforce. The enforcement of these stamp duty acts and laws is not even there. Even we as adults, when was the last time we saw a stamp? We don't know the faces on them anymore. Before now, we used to have stamp collections. I have like 3, 4, 5 big folders. I have the one for 1 naira, I have the one for 5 naira, and we do it every time. I have postcards that I bought that on emergencies, even for simple birthdays within Nigeria, from here to Kano, I'd already sent it. The stamp is already sitting on it. So what are they going to say they have brought in? Nothing has changed as far as I'm concerned. They should think out of the box. Otherwise, we should not celebrate today because we have not added any value.
Yeah, just to add again, Peter, the issue he just raised. If we look at the postcards, like birthdays and all of that, which is NIPOS can design online postcards.
What is wrong with it?
You know, with their stamp already, you go online, you purchase and it's very good, you know.
Are they not doing that?
They're not.
To my knowledge, I don't think so. I have not seen any. The only one I've seen are just from maybe UK and all of that. I've seen some, you know, designed postcards online that you can buy and then use and send as birthday or anniversary and all of that. So there's need for us to go outside the box, leave our comfort zone, and try something new, innovative.
Let's take a look at the generality of their operations. Without the ICT, are they operating properly?
This age and time, without ICT, you can't even measure up. That's a basic fact, and that's the reason why I agree with Tewale completely that they need to think outside the box.
Of course, you know the richest men in the world today are ICT-based professionals.
Of course.
They should tilt and adapt certain aspects. You know,
I can tell you for free. I know I used to have a post office box, PO box 312, something like that, long ago. It has ceased to exist. I can't even remember the last time I received the letter.
That's because you stopped using it.
No, not me stopped using it. The functionality of PNB PO box,
the amount you pay per year is so frustrating. You look for your keys every year. You just lock it, and you want to go and pick your mails or check.
Peter, let me tell you, my degree certificate. The statement of result, my statement of result, I didn't go to Investor my degree to pick it. I asked somebody to sign for it, and he sent it to me by email, by mail. You know what happened? He just put it in an envelope, put stamp, and I went to my box and I received it. But this is and time, things like that don't happen. I think for me, what we need to do is to look at what we have technologically. Let us see what we have and see how we can structure NIPOS to be much more effective. Delivery of service to the people using our own local means. Now, a lot of things are happening. You want to sign something from Abuja to Ibadan, for instance, you don't go to NIPOS anymore. People use you go to transport
transport company,
Cisco. You just I don't want to mention the name of any. Just go to their company, drop it there. The next day they take you pay some amount of money, So that alone is something that has taken the shine out of NIPOS.
Isn't it a very common thing in Nigeria that we are very quick to adopt modern stuff and forget the old system? I give you an example. When the phones came, the desk telephones were completely eliminated by Nigerians themselves. And when they traveled out, they still found those phones very useful. Those telephones were still useful. In offices, they worked abroad. In houses, they lived in abroad. And when they come back, they just adopt their phones, their normal mobile phones.
Yeah, kind of. It's mentality, and then besides, it's easier for you to work with something that works faster and better for you. So if you have the modern things that works faster for you, of course, why would you go back to the old system that delays you and waste so much of your time? So when you look at it, you don't blame people so much, because if I have to do this thing, if I use this method and it's fast with speed, I naturally will go for it and not to depend on the old one that will waste my time. Time is money. So I think that's why Nigerians are quick to rush to the ones that they can get results with a click.
Well, Barrister Idris, I understand there is a bill before the National Assembly which seeks the amendment of all the existing postal services laws.
Yeah.
You think it's taking too long?
Well, if you ask me, I think it's long overdue for us to...
So how do we blame them? I mean, if there are stakeholders involved in this.
You see, let me tell you, Peter, bills does not just emanate like that. That's why we have procedures. You have either executive bill coming from the government itself or the government agency, or private member bill. NIPOS, what have they been doing themselves? Why not initiate that process of making a law that will make you more effective? In that case, you do whatever you have to do, send it through the Minister of Information or whichever ministry that supervises them, and then you send it to Federal Executive Council. They look at it, and once it's okayed, then the President can write a letter and send it to National Assembly and becomes executive bill.
Isn't it possible that the delay in that bill might be responsible for the poor structure?
For how long have we been talking about this bill? We're just talking about this bill just not quite 2-3 months back. What have we been doing since 1999? So it's not about now, though yes, it's better to be late than never, but then we need to hurry up and catch up with time. You said something about not using line anymore. Where is our MTEL, NITEL, and all of that? Fax messages. I can't remember the last time I heard somebody talking about fax. Landline, which you talk about, it has disappeared completely. Now you have a landline, you see put a SIM card inside the landline, and you, for God's sake, we think we are moving towards technology and leaving the older technology. It doesn't work like that. They complement each other, because now you want to speak with your children at home, the landline is not there. So you still need to have a mobile set and all of that. There is need for us to think about how to bring back those like fax messages, use of stamp, writing letters and all of that. We need to sit down, think of a better strategy on how to engage ourselves better.
Today is World Post Day, and on the program we've been looking at how well the country is faring in this sector. This is X-Ray on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take another dimension of the topics on ground and see what reactions we get from you eventually. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Welcome, my dear friends. Human Rights Radio. Your 100% effort is not good enough. Give me 101.1 effort.
As the fourth estate of the realm, the media stands as the watchman of the nation. On Media Lab, we dissect the news items of the day through the men and women that bring the news to you to give you the full story. Media Lab, airing exclusively on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting.
Human Rights Radio.
This is Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.
Welcome back to Extra on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. Thank you so much for staying tuned in to the program. We're taking a look at the World Post Day and how Nigeria as a country has fared in that sector. Now we'll be taking a look at something very trending. The federal government has just come out to debunk reports that the outbreak of monkeypox in some parts of the country is as a result of a free medical service given to the people of the area. A statement by the Information and Culture Minister in Abuja the weekend called on Nigerians to disregard the report, adding that the federal government has not conducted any free medical services in Bayelsa and River States, as alleged by the said report. The minister said the monkeypox is a virus found only in monkeys, adding that it is suspected that someone may have contracted it by eating monkey meat, thereby triggering the outbreak. He, however, assured that no effort will be spared in curtailing the spread of the disease. Handshakes and hugging to curtail the spread of monkey virus were also emphasized. A statement by the Commissioner for Information in the state, Charles Udon, at the weekend confirmed one case of monkeypox in the state. He said other cases were being investigated. Now, according to the World Health Organization, WHO, monkeypox can cause a fatal illness in humans. It listed the symptoms as severe headaches, fever, and back pains, noting that the most worrisome of all the signs are rashes, which are bigger than those caused by chickenpox. The viral disease is said to be transmitted to humans from animals. Is there anything to worry about, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes. There's a lot to worry about. I think we're now, we have found ourselves at that point where we have to be very cautious, very careful. I think the area of washing your hands, don't shake your hand to people, don't hug. I think those times have come again. You know, after we left Ebola behind, I think this is another one presenting itself. And the area of ensuring that people don't eat bush meat, you know, people change their ways, you know, has come. It's a difficult time, and this is a time that we should be very, very careful and serious, because we don't want a situation where there will be an exportation of this virus from one state to another. You know, so if we need to begin right away to ensure that there's no further spread from one state to another, because if we don't and it begins to go on, because we found it the first time in Bayelsa State, now it's in Akwa Ibom State, and so it can transfer, it can travel from one state to the other, and it's highly contagious. So it's a time for us to sit up.
Has any one of you eaten monkey meat before? How is that meat classified? You know, we have beef, we have
chicken.
No, well, we have
all animals, please.
And all that. What do you call monkey meat?
Bush meat.
Anyway, so but this is a very serious issue. I saw the pictures online. It is quite a disturbing sight when you see a victim of that disease. Well, I didn't see the one in the Nigerian states, but I saw the ones in other countries, and it wouldn't be a good sight for anybody. Barrister Idris.
Peter, when you raised this issue, something struck me, and I just smiled to myself. You remember one time, I think one time I just got a phone call. They said you should bath with salt water and all of that. I said, for what? You understand what I'm saying? But that was during Ebola or something like that. So
please don't bath with any salt water. That same act killed my uncle.
No. I'm bringing this in because people are people take unnecessary steps not medically certified, and we endanger our lives. So this is one aspect again that is playing out here again.
Thank you for bringing that up.
What my fear is, one, I pray that we are able to contain this from spreading over to other states, and if care is not taken, the luck we had with Ebola was it didn't get into any of our prisons. The prison, that small enclave, any ailment that gets in there, the rest assured it will spread to every part of the country. So I just plead with those in authority to ensure that this is just, those two states where we have it, they do everything humanly possible to ensure that people don't get more affected by it, and our medical experts should come on board and see how they can assist. Here again we have a very big challenge. The whole of Africa, we don't have a vaccine factory or industry where we can say research like this, you run into the lab and do a lot of research to know how you can contain or curtail the spread of some of these viruses. So here again we are faced with a big challenge, and it is a wake-up call every day for us to sit up and do what is needed to ensure that safety is guaranteed. A right to health is right to life. Without it, there's no life.
And I'm suspecting that Oikenke will talk about that much later, and health is like part of the programming on Human Rights Radio that emphasizes the need to be conscious of your environment and the need to be healthy. Wale?
Yeah, please. For me, I feel usually very different again, because the issue of monkeypox is usually one of those periodic tests on all our acclamations, all the noise that we make that our professors were traditional healers and so on. I don't believe that it has anything to do with the federal government. Let the states answer their names. Every single thing is blamed to the federal. In fact, for the allegations they made from Friday evening when I got the information, I just laughed it over, because I can't remember any federal health program that is being. It's oftentimes at state level and then NGO, maybe UNICEF, or maybe the state or the local health arrangements. I can't remember any federal institution running around from place to place injecting people and all that. And Nigerians are usually very gullible. This is a state and local government matter. And then our shameless tertiary institution. I don't know, I wish I were the president of this country for just 1 week. I will deal with the issues concerning all those their salaries that they are earning, because they can't defend it. This is a test that it should rise up to. We have science department, we have medical department, we have the teaching hospitals and all that. At this point, they should swing into action and tackle this issue of monkeypox. It is not what will sit and begin to blame federal government in Abuja. If you're a professor of veterinary, if you're a professor of animal husbandry, you're a professor of this one, use it to score a cheap goal. It's a very cheap thing as far as I'm concerned. And all those people who go on air in radio every time, especially in the evening, who say they are Baba Jebu, they can cure this, they can handle this, they have treated this, they can use agbo, they can let them prove themselves with this one. Because honestly, I don't know why we just are so gullible. Oftentimes everything sells, all kind of lies. And I think that at this point in time we should also use this opportunity to push further for the autonomy of local government. We need them. We are Africans. The other side I don't accept is that because somebody ate monkey. We've been eating monkeys every time. We eat all kind of bushmeat. I am suspecting that somebody somewhere has compromised with an animal. There are a lot of things in idea and concept that is going on now that are so very, I don't know how to describe it. They are just anti-human. people sleeping with animals, doing all kinds of things. That is where I think the problem will have come from, not eating, because the process of the food that we eat, the process it goes through fire and no, we don't even use gas. It's real firewood. So if there's any disease in monkey, it won't be now. It will have all been gone more or less. So I think our tertiary institution should call themselves to order, sit up and do the research so that they can begin to. The Ebola issue, the solution did not come even up until now. So for this monkeypox, let our tertiary institution, otherwise they close down.
So what you're saying is there is more to this, and we need a research team to discover.
Peter, you see,
Professor of what? What have you invented?
In one of our programs here,
I don't understand.
I gave an analysis how, for God's sake, lecturers going on strike for what? I don't understand. You see, this is a challenge to all those who we call scientists and all of that. Here is something you can go into research, into your laboratory, and provide solutions.
Less than a week or two, we get over.
But here, it said we'll go on strike, holding government account and say the cost salary. In developed world, a university is funded maybe approximately after 4 years, or let me say max 10 years. After 10 years, government hands off. You source for funding yourself. How they do that is very clear. First 2 years, wholly funded by the university, by the federal government. After 2 years, 60%, and all of that they are built to research.
We've seen people who have tried to bring out their research works, and they were damned by certain government forces.
That is where I blame government, because you need to create the enabling environment for people to strive, for people to bring out what.
The person needs the government. If I have a solution that is ravaging my country and I present to the government, they say no, I'll go out and I sell it through the Igbo man, and I'm a multi-trillionaire. What am I worrying myself for? That is where
it's the same government not appreciating your effort or our effort. That is why you go out.
I still remember the story of the boxer Joshua. He was rejected at the home front, and then he got the glory from outside his country, and he's been celebrated. Now the country is begging him to come. It will not work. It won't work. We just are misdirecting our priorities. How can? In fact, for me, I think professionalism in Nigeria is a lie. I'm sorry, Mr. Peter. Professionalism, they say it's a professional. It's a lie as far as I'm concerned. So it is worrisome. If we're going to do it, let's put our acts together and set benchmarks. You can't be a professor and you're collecting close to $1 million every 30 days and there's nothing to show for it. People are suffering, go to the hospitals, common vaccine for malaria. We're depending on foreign countries and so on. Nigeria should sit up, please.
Mr. Williams, Wale, that's where I tend to disagree with you again, because like now, in one of human rights review program, Bracket Family, there's this medical doctor who is coming up with a vaccine factory. Here we are, he is looking for money to fund that factory. This is something that will benefit not just Nigeria, it will be an export base. Something that will earn Nigeria money across the world. And the man is just, begging and begging for money. I'll tell you for free. The pension scheme and all of that, the money they have over 6 trillion naira lying fallow in pension, people contributory pension. These are money you can invest, and it will increase their earning.
Honestly, I'm sorry to cut in. The issue on ground is, if you have a solution, I've always said it, you don't need to be begging to build a factory. Has it been proven? There are sequences that you have to follow. How many persons have you healed? What is what would you say you have laid down as plan? You don't just start the
you see on this
get recognition from UNICEF.
The person I'm talking about is known worldwide, and even some that is where ignorance. That's where it plays.
I'm sure Ikeke too does not know him.
No,
Mr. Peter, do you know him?
Let me tell you. Wait, let me tell you. If
that's the problem, we overassume a lot of things.
As we speak now,
ground is if you believe in your solution,
as we speak now, I have some of his this thing that NAFDAC have certified for consumption, which are very effective when it comes to even malaria. There's something here they produce here in somewhere around Nasarawa State, Kefi Road in Kefi, that they use in curing malaria as we speak now. So it's somebody that is well known. The German government, German company, they are assisting him to see how they can set up that factory here in Nigeria. He came to one of our program, Break the Family, and the whole world heard about it. So what I'm trying to tell you is something that the government is not encouraging us to even do what we have to do. Remember, the first yam panda was developed here in this country, but today we are importing yam panda. The man constructed it. Nobody gave him any ear. He had to sell it to Japan or China, and now we are importing it. So that is why I say government has a big role to play.
I agree. I think we really have issues of us not appreciating what we have. We as a people will tend to believe and trust more things that are coming from other countries. So there's a need for us, and we're using this medium to call on government to look inwards. We have a lot in our country in terms of skills, capacities, and all that. So there's that great need for us to develop and to invest in ourselves. By the time we begin to invest in ourselves, I think a lot of things will go better. But the situation where all the time all we do is, we don't care when our people say, look, we have this, we can do this, we can do that. But when someone comes from somewhere else, we run around, we give so much monies, and then, we don't encourage our own. I think we need to stop and look inwards and begin to develop ourselves and our capacities. That's where the growth will come from, I believe.
All right, let's take our calls. A lot of people are trying to call us and be part of the program. You can call us up on 081 89 99 1011. Hello.
Good morning, Peter.
Welcome to Human Rights Radio. It's X-Ray. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
My name is Ifeanyi, calling from Gary.
Welcome to the program, Ifeanyi.
Thank you very much. You see, this nation, Nigeria, a lot of things need to be put in place if we must get it right. So we don't encourage our own activity. That is why the government is counting rumors that the outbreak of monkeypox as a result of a premeditated cell and administered death. Why are they are fond of doing, they are fond of doing putting the right thing at the right time. You see, I see why this problem is not being considered. Now, what people are debating on in the city has been respect. People need that much. And that if we encourage, Nigeria will go up. Now, what?
So sorry about that. We have to try to fix this. But what's your reaction to that, Barrister Idris? I mean, if I is actually talking about some of the challenges that we have, just like you mentioned, it's a common problem with that kind of attitude in Nigeria.
You see, we need to change our attitude towards life. We need to make things much more effective down here. Like I said, if you have, we have professors, we have scientists all around us. In fact, the best in the world are made from this part of this part of the world. What is happening when it comes to our own being, developing and even believing in ourselves? We don't believe in our capacity and our capabilities, and that is where we have this challenge. It's high time we started looking inward to find solution to our internal problems, because nobody can understand where we are coming from better than us.
All right.
The drugs that we use.
Sorry, let me do this. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Line in mode.
I think we're having technical issues with our source of telephones. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's time that we look inward and see how we can provide our own solutions to our own problems. The drugs manufactured in the US, because of their environment, the cold nature of those environments may be more effective over there than what it is here, because we are in a tropical region. Our weather system is quite different. So we need to look inward, find our own solution to our own problems. I think that's the way to go.
And we also, as we also need to begin to trust in our government. I know a lot of things are not the way we want them to be. But a situation where some people would believe, okay, there's a monkeypox now because the federal government went and immunized some people. I think we should begin to appreciate ourselves more and trust our government more. It's a two-way thing, you know, the government and the people. We should love each other and trust each other, and then come together and solve our problems together, you know.
Let's see if the phone lines will work now. Hello? Good morning.
Hello?
Oh, there goes the line again. So I think we're going to suspend the phone lines for now. Go ahead, Oikeke.
Yeah, I said there's a need for us to trust even in our government too. We should know that as a people, there are some things that we would not do to ourselves. A situation where I don't have the facts, but you know, when some people begin to think that yes, the federal government went and immunized some people, and so now there's monkeypox, is the federal government that, you know, brought this out. I think we should do better than that. Okay, when we have problems, we should research and find out where the problem is coming from and tackle the problem instead of speculating and alleging things that cannot be proven.
But let's go back to the responsibilities of the state governments. How much commitment have we seen by state governments when it comes to issues like that? We saw the incident of the Ebola crisis. That was particularly handled by most of it by the federal government. This time we're seeing an intervention by the federal government. How long can we continue? Wale?
Oh, okay. For me, I think we need to situate our discussions and responsibility. It's a very good question you have asked. The issue for me is between the state and the local government. The Nigerian system has a way of blaming the federal government for everything. We at local level we have various health institutions, you know, that are really not functioning the way they should, and that's because the state government is playing God, so to say, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're stifling the various local government capacities. They even determine the existence. Of course, we have seen states like Abuja and other states who will just not allow the local government departments function at all. They scrap them and then they run. And you begin to ask them what happens to the fund that is allocated to run the local government. It's funny the way the state governors run these days, and it's really, really something I think we should look at properly. It is very worrisome. The state government are not trying at all, and in fact, last week they were calling on the federal government to surrender all the various federal roads to them for maintenance and repair and construction. And we're asking them, what happens to your own core responsibilities? How well have you been able to, handle that? And Nigerians, we just go about our normal business like doesn't concern me. And that's, if we have a very responsive youth body, they won't be doing all this and getting away with them. I'm telling you, because a lot of issues there, we just wake up, it's there. Once you wake up, you see Nigeria intact, you continue. And that's it, we're just doing trial and error. We need to sit up. In fact, the most disappointing departments in this country are the labor, as far as I'm concerned, I stand to be corrected, and the youth associations. They're not there at all, as far as I'm concerned. You want to appoint ambassador, you put an 80-year-old man there to do what? Where does he have the energy or innovation to run? and they go with their families and increase our wage bill, and we keep running and crawling. We need to sit up and redefine most of these things. For Nigeria, we need to press the reset button, and then we take everything, in sequence and solve the problem one after the other. We cannot continue to run in circles like this. It doesn't make sense to me, honestly.
Do you see this being nipped in the bud, Barrister Idris?
You mean the monkeypox?
Yes.
Yeah, I think just like the federal government stepped in when we had Ebola, they have also geared up and doing the very best to contain the spread so that it doesn't go out. And like I said, I pray and I hope it doesn't get into our prison, because once it gets into any prison formation, the rest assured the spread will be much more worse, because that is a place where every person, if you have a relative, then you must visit. And once the number of visits and all of that, we don't even keep track of record. Here again, we have the problem of knowing where our movements, the movement of Nigerians and all of that. So I hope and I pray that we are able to deal with this as the thing has not spread beyond those 2 states.
And I think we shouldn't leave this for just one level of government. It should be the 3 tiers: federal, local, and even government. The approach that we used during the Ebola, I think that's what we should use, because this is a very, very serious one too. So we should not sit, we should monitor, we should hold our leaders accountable. We should ensure that our health services are working. It's a serious issue, because when you look at the local levels, what is the state of our health facilities? Can we curtail any serious infection based on the kind of facilities that we have? You go to places and you don't see drugs, the equipment are not there, the laboratories are not working very well. So that's why we need to get serious with this.
More like saying, how prepared are we?
How prepared are we?
When Ebola came out, we were reports of doctors running away from suspected cases were clearly on the media.
Yeah. Geka said something now, that local government area. Where do you want the local government area to get funds to take care of issues like this when they've been stiff out of circulation? Wale just said something about local government area not being, in fact, in some states they are just as good as not existing at all. So we have a lot of structural issue. We have 3 tiers of government: federal, state, and local government. But local government area, the state government they've decided to just make them redundant, unproductive, by not giving them their own allocation. If the federal government will hold them not to give them their own allocation, how will they survive? And we are talking about government. The local government area is something that is rooted to the grassroots. So there's so much thing to be done as far as Nigeria is concerned. On this issue of monkeypox, every hand must be on deck. Sensitization, radio programs. These are the things to sensitize people about how you can contact it, how you can contact it, how you can spread it, and all of that. Government need to step up the issue of sensitization in all medias, using every available media, radio, television, and even the social media, to educate every one of us on the need on how to avoid contact with monkeypox.
And we should take this advocacy too, not at the Abuja state levels. We need, where these infections will be most, people that are more vulnerable are those probably in the villages and the local level. So we should carry out this sensitization to those people, churches, mosques, schools, at all levels at the grassroots. Yeah.
Let's try and take some calls and see if we can take more calls again. 081 89 99 1011. That's 081 89 99 1011. You can call us up before we wrap up the program and see how your opinion will count on X-ray this morning. And by the way, let's again ask ourselves the responsibility of the community. But before then, let's pick this call. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to X-Ray.
Okay, my name is Prince Andy. I'm interested in the issue of the local government.
All right, go ahead.
You know, the idea of the local government is like a deflated fire coming from the federal government. The federal government takes some leakage, tries to the state government. The state government slap it down, press it for a while, and then send the local government. And by the time it gets to the local government, it's already deflated such that it cannot move again. So even the local government, I would also suggest that it should be the priority. As a matter of fact, the federal government does not really affect the common Nigerian. The local government is the government of the people. As a matter of fact, democracy is felt in the local government. But we do not have that local government. I want to appeal to you, if the media is actually working, if people are listening, they should at least do a little more to give local government autonomy and independence. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. Very well said. And let's see if we can take more calls before wrapping up the program. So the question is, obviously what we're saying is, hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to X-Ray.
All right, I'm Grace calling from Airport Road.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm very happy to have that people are talking about what is happening our health here. Please, the person in the studio is not even encouraging people to live right, because you're talking about the system of the process of bushmeat. I'm not talking about how it is handled. People that don't go locally, they don't put on this. They can handle it. Someone who has wounds can contact anything. So when things like this happen, and we are told that we should look in a different direction, encourage people to do so. Because I remember once in my life, I had a wound. I watched a bit, and I got a bit from the market. In the night, the place was, I couldn't describe it. My husband had to rush me to go and take a virus injection, which means that means contaminated. So these are what we are talking about. We should not encourage people to do things that when government is trying to tell people to do this. It's not quite close for now. We know that we like bushmeat, but for now, let it be aside.
Yes.
And we are talking about this is why we are saying power should be dissolved from the center. When they are holding the power, everybody will be looking onto them because that is where the king is coming from. But if the power is dissolved, it's given to local government, state government. I can trace from my village, mobilize my people that I know, we trace to the local government, occupy it. It is a handhouse. But you cannot trace from gather local government to come to Abuja to keep up for what is happening in local government. This is why we say power should be dissolved. And in fact, I really thank God because I know about the man in Zekete. I have heard about him. I read on it. I read about him, and I'm praying that he should be published. I pray that he should read it because that is what we need in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contribution on the program. I'd like to appreciate your comment. I think what she's referring to is the need to sensitize members of the public, number one. Number two, let's encourage Nigerians that are doing great things like Dr. Agwale, who is trying to bring about the vaccine factory in Nigeria. We must do it ourselves. We can't continue to wait for the government. Final comments from my panelists.
I believe we should take the sensitization to the grassroots. I'm sure before I can get monkey meat here, it will be difficult, but it may be more easier for people there. So let's sensitize our people. Now stay away from any kind of bushmeat. Wash your hands, improve your hygiene. Let's tell them the dangers, the causes, the dangers, and the preventive measures. I think that will help a lot.
Yeah, I just want to take this piece. We say how you transmit the virus, and we should take this very seriously. A majority of cases are transmitted from animal rodent, even rats and all of that. We should be careful. To human by direct contact, person-to-person transfer, and probably by droplet can occur insignificantly. All of these are ways and means by which you can then body fluid, contact with person, contaminated object, and all of that are ways and means by which you can transfer it. All we need to we pray, because without God we can't do anything. After that, make sure you take the extra measure, precaution, not to do any of the things that said can cause the virus. I think with that we can be free.
Well, I think it's something that is expected. Challenges will come in the course of time. It is how we respond to it, and I strongly hold the view of government at state and federal level holding our university dons, calling them to task, giving them matching order. By now, they shouldn't have much doing in the university campuses. They should be in the bush and the streets, trying to get samples and working in the laboratory day and night to achieve a solution. Because I know so many persons who at this point in time will buy more monkeys and keep. So when the situation abates, or when the situation improves, like it happened in the instance of Ebola, they just bring their monkeys and eat. We are Africans. I don't deceive myself. A lot of persons know that we are acting on rumor and speculations. Let our university dons swing into action, sit down, do their own part, and come up with solution. You can't stop me, for example, from eating my bushmeat. I take all the precautions, I boil properly, and I enjoy my meal. I'm African, I'm sorry.
Well, that's a commitment on your part, but for our own, we need to discourage people, because not everybody may know how to maintain or manage the preparation process, and that in itself can cause a lot of damage. So, we'd like to thank you for being part of the program. Thank you, gentlemen and lady, for being on the program. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely time. Remember, what happens in Bayelsa stays in Bayelsa, and what happens in Cross River State stays in Akwa Ibom State. I beg your pardon. Stays in Akwa Ibom State. We don't want it to spread outside those cities. The government should wake up to their duties as much as they can and find an end to this problem. Stay with Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. It's been X-Ray. I'm Peter Kundum.
Welcome.